All right, just went to Hannaford's, got me a couple lobsters and a few other things, but Hannaford's lobsters I think I got my daughter Panera mac and cheese because that's what she likes, and I got 2 lobsters steamed. They steam them for you. And what else did I get? I think I got celery and baby dill or something and a lemon. Anyway, it's like $49, right? 1 lobster roll at Red's Lobster Shack down here in Wiscasset, where we're heading back to. We're just leaving Hannaford's here in Damariscotta. I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. So basically, I'm feeding 3 people for $49, whereas you can only feed 1 person for a $39 lobster roll. Yeah, her lobster rolls are good, but they're not worth $39. I'm sorry. That's way too much money. It's a historic place. It's been there a very long time. If you have been told, oh, you got to try it, you got to try it. Yeah, if you want to burn up 39 bucks, be my guest. Me personally, no lobster roll is worth $39. I don't care who you are. I don't care if the world's going to end tomorrow. It ain't worth $39. I'm sorry. I can make my own. I just got 2 lobsters. I'm going to make 2 nice lobster rolls, for one for me, one for the wife. My daughter's going to try it. She's not real big on lobster, but she'll try it, and we'll go from there. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was corporate greed. I started editing a video, part of this video. In this video, I'm going to cover my buddy Brian. I did a telephone conference with him. I'm still editing it. I don't want to draw it out, but he moved back to California. He was the house a few houses down when I was doing the video. Surprise move, and I showed my house in Georgetown, and I pointed to Brian's gray Dodge truck down the road. He sold his house for $700K. Yeah, $700,000. I sold mine for $332,500. 2 years later, his went for $700K, and he sold it to some corporation. They're going to use it as a rental of some 1039 or whatever. It's a contract thing that can't fail. So his $700,000 was locked in. There's no way he could fall through. And he's now in his new house. They did the closing recently, and I'll include that clip of me talking to him in this video. All right, and I'll trim it down. I know you don't want to sit and watch a phone call, blah blah, but check out his property. He got a nice place. I believe it's Sonora. I keep saying Sonoma. I think it's Sonora, California, up in the mountains. Beautiful place for $525. It was $499 or something like that, and some other people made an offer. Brian just went ahead and said $525 just to make certain, you know, he's not piddling around, you know, 1,000 here, 1,000 there. He didn't want to play that game, so he just said that. They accepted, and he jumped on it. So he got his house locked in, lined up a moving company that actually hauled stuff. They were moving people from California to Texas, but they never had anybody go in the opposite direction. Since he was going back to California, which is hard to do, it's another reason why I followed his progress in this video, because many people are leaving California, but you don't hear about many people moving back to California. Brian's from the San Jose area, so he decided to go back, and yeah, he's back in California now, happy as can be, because he's up in the hills. He's, you know, got mountain lions for neighbors, right? That's, you see how rural it is. It's nice. And he's only 2.5 hours away from San Jose. So he goes down there and see his mom and see his friends, childhood friends, and people came up to stay with him already. So just take a look. You know, if you're thinking that you have to get out of California, you might not. Look in places like Sonora and stuff like that. Sure, it's up in the mountains, but if you can get a house for half of what you're paying on right now and still, you know, make ends meet, that's the ideal thing. You want to get to a position, a place in life where you're not house rich and dirt poor. That's really what you're looking for. That's what everybody's looking for, I think. Nobody wants to be house rich and dirt poor. Everybody wants to have liquidity. You want to have a little bit of disposable income, otherwise you can't do anything. You're just going to work and then die. You're going to work yourself into the ground, right? So take a look at it. I'll try and keep it short. I know phone calls can go on and on. I'm going to trim it. I'm still editing it. I'm still trimming it down. I couldn't get my Samsung Galaxy to pick up the audio of the duo phone call. For some reason, my phone just isn't allowing me to capture the audio and the video at the same time. So I used my GoPro, and then I had to sync up the audio with the footage from the phone. And I did a nice job with it, so no, it's not going to be like watching a bad kung fu flick. You'll see. One of the things that I want to talk about today was, in the midst of all this corporate greed, one of the things that happened to me on the 4th of July at 3 a.m., Monday night at 3 a.m., I happened to catch it because I was editing a video, right? This video. Anyway, I got a charge on PayPal for $80 for ABG software, antivirus software. I haven't used that software, I haven't used that company in over 2 years, since I moved back to Maine. So why am I getting hit, especially on a holiday weekend where they know you can't talk to anybody till Tuesday at 3 a.m. $80. That's a great way, if you're skipping the country, to, you know, round up $80 million. If you do that to 1 million people overnight, right? Wire the money to Switzerland, boom, you're on a plane on Tuesday morning, and by the time anybody's any the wiser, you're out of the country, you're gone, right? I told PayPal to check on that. I'm probably not the only one who got hit with that charge, and it just seems suspicious to me. But you know how it is when company, or I should say people in general, when they get desperate, they make poor decisions. They make criminal decisions. They don't care. Anyway, it really kind of made me mad that they did that to me. I use PayPal in case I want to purchase something, but I don't want to use my card info or any of that other stuff. I just want to use whatever's in the PayPal. That way, if it gets compromised, I don't get taken to the cleaners. Never put your bank account out there. Always use like a middleman, like PayPal or Venmo or something, so no one can clean your clock. All right. Also, one of the things that's going to affect you as a home buyer or a renter or what have you. I know a lot of people are looking for places to live up here in Maine and other states, right? Zillow was recently caught by a realtor buying up houses in the same zip code. Like, they'll buy up 7 houses in one zip code. And what they do is they buy the first 5 houses for like $300,000, right? Then they buy the last 2 or 3 houses, they buy like 7 or 8 for $400,000. So they just effectively artificially raised the house prices of the $300,000 they paid. They just now increase the value of those houses that they just bought. They're artificially inflating the market, which means what? When you go to buy a house, if you only qualified for $300,000, you're not going to qualify for that new house payment, the new house price of $400,000. So they're pricing people out of qualifying, basically. I mean, you qualify for a house that's $300,000, then they buy a couple other houses. The house, the value just went up and it's been reassessed at this. I mean, that's dirty. They're artificially inflating the price of houses by doing this, and it's terrible. And like I said, it was on a YouTube short. A realtor had pointed it out. And you know, if those people that are in the industry every single day are telling you this stuff, it's got to be true. You know what I mean? I don't want to speak ill of anyone, but come on now. There's so much greed going on. The supermarkets are ripping everybody up. They're gouging people, and you know, it's almost $5 is their favorite price. $4.99 or $5.99. You know, between $4 to $6. That's their favorite price for everything. I went to the Fabian gas station the other day, and when I deliver mail, I don't really feel like eating lunch or stuff like that. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. You definitely don't want to eat anything greasy when you got to go deliver mail. You got to stop and do number 2. So, because some of the routes don't have any bathrooms on them, you know, you're like, oh, where do I go? I don't want to go in the woods, right? So I usually buy like a small bag of peanuts, and lately I've been going to Mobile because they have the 2-for-1 deal. You know, you buy 2 bags of peanuts, the small bags of peanuts for like, I don't know, 2 for $1.20 or something like that. So 60 cents a piece, something like that, right? That's fair. Yeah, actually, you know what? like this. So it's a 2 for $1. I think it was a tax. There's tax or something on it. 2 for $1.20. I forget. Anyway, I usually buy a couple bags of these in a pop, and then I hit the road, right? Deliver the mail. I stopped by Fabian's. They had some pistachio bags like that. And the lady rings it up and she looks at me and she goes, $7.15. I'm like, what? Excuse me? $7.15 for 2 bags of peanuts? Not today. You can keep those. So I pushed that all away, including the drink. I was like, I'm out of here. I walked out, went to the mobile, got that, and I'm just like, wow, $7.15 for 2 bags of peanuts? What is this world coming to? I mean, I'm not at the airport. I'm not at a concert. You know what I'm saying? It's just unbelievable. So you've got to... One of the things that bothers me the most about the way the economy is right now is that the government just keeps printing money. That's where the inflation is coming from. Watch some old Milton Friedman videos. He talks about it. He was an economist. He was like, I think he won a Nobel Prize. The guy's a genius. He's brilliant. And he talks about that. Governments create inflation by printing money. They're trying to keep people dependent on this free money. It's not helping the economy. They can't get any employees. And the Amazon flow that's coming in right now, I already told my boss, you need to ask for overtime right now. Blanket overtime. Because if you don't, we're not going to be able to keep up. And we're not even near Christmas yet. We got a few months away. But I'm getting hammered. So hopefully they'll give us overtime and correct that. But know this, that there is jobs up here for those people that want to work. You can get a good paying job. UPS is paying $25 an hour right now if you want to become a driver. If you're moving up here and you want a good paying job and you're not in the healthcare field or something already, or you're not a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, dentist, and you're for lack of a better word, a laborer or a server type thing, you want to make good money, you can do that. You can work for UPS delivering packages. After 8 hours, they pay time and a half. You can probably make $5,200 a month or more delivering packages for UPS. And they give you a uniform. You don't have to wear your own clothes like you do at the post office. So, I mean, it's something to consider. They even give you, I think, winter clothing, like jackets and stuff like that. It's a perfect job for someone coming in that needs a job that pays $25 an hour and time and a half. And you build up time and benefits and all that other stuff. And they have good dental and medical and all that. So it's a good fit for somebody who doesn't mind work. Yeah, it's something to consider. The post office, we're hurting. We need people. They need teachers. If you're a teacher, I know that Wisconsin needs it. They're losing a few teachers. So if you're a teacher, the schools up here need them. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, there was a gentleman that said he was asking about composting toilets and tiny houses. I don't know all of the nuances of that stuff. I'm not into that. I told you before, a tiny house up here, not necessarily a good idea. If it's not super insulated, you're going to freeze your butt off, or you're going to spend a fortune trying to keep it warm. But if you're into that and it's just you, I mean, come up here, or I should say, find out where you want to live. If you want to live in this area here, or you've got a piece of property somewhere, find out what county it is, what city, and then find out from the city. That's ultimately who makes up the ordinances, and that's ultimately who you're going to have to appease, right? So find out if there's any restrictions, if they don't allow composting. I don't know, understand why they wouldn't allow composting toilets. I mean, if you're on your own land, I really don't think anybody's going to come out there and be bothering you. It's not like they have someone come out and inspect, oh, let me see your composting toilet and all that other stuff. You're on your own property. I mean, there are people that buy an acre of land and set up a trailer. You know, they buy a trailer, they finance one, whatever, a house trailer, and they set it up on there. I don't recommend house trailers because they're not as insulated. And in the midst of a power outage, if you don't buy yourself a generator, right? And you don't have to buy a whole house generator. You can buy one of those Kohler not a Kohler, a Honda, or you could buy a Honda generator, or you can buy a one of those ones at the hardware store, or the Napa Auto Parts place, right? You can buy a generator like that and have backup power. You know, you might have to pull it out and start it up. So I would recommend, if you put in a trailer, I would recommend for you to go ahead, have a power box set up. Some people put a pole out there and have their stuff put on it. I would put a board, you know, maybe some pressure treated in the ground, and put up a board type thing, and then have like an alternate breaker, so that if you have power go out, you flip the main breaker off, you flip the other breaker, and then the generator will power your house. Maybe have a street lamp attached to that, so that when the regular power comes back on, you can see it, go, okay, I can shut down my generator now, turn off the power, turn on the main power, and do it that way. That would keep you from freezing to death. And also protect your animals. Whole house generators have an advantage, like Kohler. They have a switching box that's automated. And so in the midst of a power outage, and you're at work and your animals are at home in the trailer, the power would come on, the generator would kick in automatically, and everything would function, and then your animals wouldn't freeze to death. And a lot of people have, I think those trailers usually have like an oil burner type furnace set up inside of them. So you just have to have an oil tank put out there, maybe 150, 250 gallon or 500 gallon tank behind you, and then that's your heat. Heating oil is pretty pricey too. So like I said, but it is doable. And let's face it, you can get up here if you buy a tract of land and then you have a pad poured out there. Maybe, you know, go and learn from someone who's doing septics, right? You're not going to be able to rent the equipment to drill a well. You have to pay for that. But let's face it, I mean, wells aren't that expensive. I think my father had one drilled for like $3,500, but that was about, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. I don't know what they are right now, but I'm sure if they don't have to go through a whole bunch of rock, they don't have to go down 160 feet and stuff like that, it should be pretty reasonable. It shouldn't be that crazy. So maybe get a part-time job working for a guy that does septics and leach fields, and then you go out to work with him every day, and you watch him, and oh, okay, now I can rent me a Kubota, and you go out and you dig the trench, and you put in the same piping. Okay, he's using this kind of piping. What size piping is that? What's it called? Right? You're writing notes. Then you go into Home Depot, you're buying your stuff, and you just copy everything you do it on the job site. You do at your house the next day, out on your property, right? Until you get your septic done. Oh, this day here. Oh, okay. The permanent inspector came out. Okay, and you call the permanent inspector, have him come out and look at your stuff, right? Boom. You just copycat whatever he does. Save yourself a bunch of money, because I know those leach fields can go up as high as like $30,000. So if you could do it yourself, because you're helping the guy do, right, you're being a laborer, but you're learning, you're writing notes, maybe you're videoing, you got a GoPro, one of those they sell hats for a GoPro that you can put the camera up inside of it and just the lens sticks out. Maybe you could wear that all day, or you could wear your head harness. Tell me you have a YouTube channel, whatever, right? But you're recording everything, you know, and then you can watch it back. Oh, that's right, he said it's this 8 3/4 inch pipe or something, right? Then you have all the specs, you have everything, and then you can start doing it yourself. That's the cheapest way to do it. And think about it, I mean, yeah, you go out and you finance a trailer. I wouldn't buy a used one, because you just never know what's been through it, you know. And let's face it, you don't want to buy something and you start living in it and then cockroaches start coming out the walls, right? I would buy something new and then have it set up out there. You can do that. Just know this, that they're not super insulated, and that's why I said buyer beware, because you don't want to get into debt, right, buying a trailer type home, and then it's, you know, not as insulated as you thought, and then you got to have all kinds of heaters, and, you know, not going to be that comfortable. Let me pause the video for right now, because I've got to go inside. I've got a couple lobsters, gonna make me some lobster rolls, and I got to unload the car, all right, and get my daughter's stuff ready. But I'll pick this up. Watch this right now. I'm gonna put Brian's and my phone call on there, the duo phone call. Watch that and tell me what you thought. It may end abruptly because it was kind of like long. The video cut off. I started it again, but it really wasn't a good place to end. But I'll end it and just know that, okay, yeah, they've seen enough. All right, I see what he's saying. Just look at his property and then come back to this video and I'll finish up. There he is. What's going on, man?
You got me on front screen, right?
Yeah, I can see you. That's nice.
Right now it's 87, but it's about. So that's like a condo complex or something.
It's a what?
But condominiums.
Oh, condominiums? Okay.
But here, I'll do a panoramic here.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And you go around to the backyard already?
I will. Just giving you a little dealio.
It looks good.
You gotta see this tonight, man.
You put the cap back on the truck, I see.
Yeah. And then I'll go walk down the driveway. You can see, but I'll give you the view from the street.
Is that your trash can down there?
Yeah, they're supposed to swap that one out. It's my recycle bin.
Okay. And you got a mailbox already?
Swapped.
You have a mailbox already?
Yeah, right there. And like literally 4 minutes drive down these hills here. You're in the downtown Sonora.
Wow.
This is the front of the house. That's there. And then this side here. And then the deer run, where the deer be running, is like right up in here.
Right.
Ugh, scared the shit out of me yesterday. Last night. I had one running. But I have a feeling this is going to be a fucking bear of a project once things start growing out of the cedar.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it looks good. And
Calves are burning.
the important thing is you got back to California where you wanted to be, and you got the good weather. Your allergies are not killing you, so that's good.
No. The first shot was like, my allergies are bothering me. I'm like, oh, great.
Oh, no.
But, so yeah, so this is like the other side of those bushes.
Yeah.
Nah.
Now, do you know if those are native? Are those native plants that they naturally grow out there, or are they just somebody put that in?
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I need to trim this thing down a little bit.
Right.
It's a lavender plant.
Yeah.
I got a crepe myrtle on the other side.
Right.
Don't know what all these are. This way. The side of the house. So, yeah, see, I want to put a fence. Oh, see that ravine right there?
Right.
That's the property line for the most part. So, I'm looking at a long fence to go all the way up.
Yeah.
And probably stop it right about here.
Yeah.
And then take it to that piece of rebar right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see it.
And take it all the way back. And then the backyard. So this was the back. And then you've got the hillside up there.
That's nice. I mean, you got the cedar chips, so I imagine it smells nice with the cedar chips, huh?
Yeah, it's a different smell.
Yeah, and then you've got the nice mountain breeze.
Yeah.
No wind today, though, or I don't see any trees moving, so I'm assuming you have no wind today.
It's a very light. We're supposed to get a little tonight, but very light wind.
Yeah. And what's it been?
Yeah, I feel that.
What's it been cooling down to at night?
Into the 50s.
Wow.
So yeah, the deck here, little deck.
Right.
And then, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then on this side, so yeah, so this is where the deer, they go up there, and I think it jogs, the fence line on this side jogs back around.
Whose fence is that?
Really walked up. This is neighbor fence.
Okay.
That they put up. So I don't need to do a fence on this side.
That's nice. That's, yeah, it saves you a bit of money.
Yeah, but like see all the views, man. It's nice.
Yeah.
And then probably would come off the house right here.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot across to connect to that fence. It's pretty nice.
So what would you say was your biggest challenge of moving back to California? What was it? Just finding a home? Trying to time it just right between selling and buying?
I mean, where we originally were looking,
Yeah.
in Valley, all the houses prices were so high.
Right.
And I'd have to gut everything out. And I didn't really want to do that.
Wow.
Because, you know, I was looking at like 650 around there.
Yeah.
Like a total rehab on the house.
So you could buy an older home for that money, but not a new one.
Yeah, and that's like a freaking, like I don't know, like an 0.15 acre, you know what I mean? Like a super small lot, no backyard.
How big is your lot?
That's a .43 acre.
That's a .43?
Yeah.
But you got all the mountains around you, so it really doesn't matter, does it?
Nah, not really, man, to be honest with you. And downtown Sonora is just awesome.
There you go, you're back.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was cool. It was, for the price, I feel like I may have overpaid a little bit on this house.
Yeah. But you didn't you didn't need much, because it's just you and your wife and the dogs, right? You don't have any children, so it's not like you needed a lot of space.
Nah. We're under 1,700 square foot on this house here.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it ain't new. It ain't like the Georgetown house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different. Like,
yeah.
it's definitely different.
But you're looking
like moving into somebody else's house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, granted, they put in floors and painted, but they're still got the smells, and they didn't really do a great job of cleaning the house.
Right. But you bought location more than anything. You wanted to be back home, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and we bought this for $525.
Yeah.
We ended up buying, and so, you know, that led us to have a lot more money in our pockets after everything was paid for.
Right.
We bought this outright. We didn't do a mortgage or anything.
And that still leaves you time to do other things, and like you said, you got time to go and travel and do a little bit of stuff there. So, did she take time off for the move?
Did we do what?
Did Rochelle take time off for the move?
Oh yeah, she's gonna take the rest of the month off. She might not even go back to her job because her job requires driving.
Yes.
And so, with the gas prices out here, it is a little pricey. To grant you, she gets paid mileage, like I think it's like 50 something cents a mile, but like she fills up here, which gas isn't that expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but like an hour away from here. Gas in Sonora right now is about $5.50.
So do they?
But
do they have a local route for her in that area, or she'd have to drive really far to go to work?
Yeah, she'd have a large territory. But, you know, and then I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like, why do that? I mean, she filled up her Jeep 2 days ago at the gas station, an hour or two, hour and a half away, and it was $125
right
to fill it. You know, so, and then on the way here, it was expensive. Like, it started as you came more west, it got more, you know. But, you know, so she's even talking about like finding and maybe doing a remote job, you know what I mean? Like work from home.
Yeah.
Because everything's in this area that we need. Like, there's nothing like, and it's
Well, you got the house, so now you just need to set up a good work-life balance thing, so you can say, hey, we're going canoeing, or we're going whitewater rapids or whatever, and, you know, hey, I'm taking this time off, and just, you know what I'm saying, you can block time out and actually go do stuff, because there's nothing to do in Georgetown. All the stuff they had down there was just ridiculous.
Well, all our family and friends are out here, and like my brother-in-law and his wife are coming up tomorrow.
Right.
They're about an hour and a half away. And then Sunday, our friends from Santa Rosa, California, are coming up to visit and staying a couple nights, I think. And so yeah, it's super cool because like.
All right, sorry about the technical difficulties. Me and Brian were talking on a thing there. You know how Duo is. It reset during the middle of the conversation, and I'm like, ugh. So as I was editing it, I was like, there's a lot of chit chat between him and I that really isn't gonna interest you as that much. So I tried to keep it as minimal as possible. The phone call was probably like 35-40 minutes. So I tried to trim it way down. I mean, I just wanted you to see what's possible in moving back to California, okay? If you're in California, you may not have to leave California. I know some of you are like, oh, I want to go to Maine because it's beautiful. That's great. That's great. But for those of you who say, you know what, I really don't want to leave California because I have family and friends here. I just can't afford where I am. Brian went back. A lot of people are coming from, right? They're leaving California. They're going to Texas and every place else. But not many people go back. That's why I thought you should probably hear that phone call. And yeah, some of you out there, you millennials, are going, oh, Brian had a house already. Brian had a down payment. Yeah, he did. He's like me. He worked his whole life. He didn't have anything given to him. He sold a condo in San Jose. It was like 1,200 square feet, probably for like, I think he said $650 or something like that. Paid cash for the house in Georgetown, which was an investment to him because he knew when Apple and YouTube and Facebook all came to Austin that they were going to come in there and just blow money like they did in San Jose. So he bought a house in Georgetown knowing that they were going to bring all that innovation and tech in and that it would blow up the real estate market. He paid $350,000 for a house in my neighborhood. He was just down the road with a pool, and so he just got $700,000 for his house in Georgetown, and then he bought a place over there in Sonora for $525,000. So yeah, he's still got a couple $100K to kick back and do what he wants to. He's going to put a fence around there on the other side to keep out the coyotes and mountain lions, make an area for the dogs to play, and then yeah, he can do what he wants. He owns his house outright, and so that's what I encourage you to do. Some of you, I know, I get it. You haven't had your first house yet. You want it, but you're going to have to get creative. There are no shortcuts, all right? Either you know somebody, a relative has some land, and maybe they'll sell you an acre, and then you set up a trailer out there on it to get started so you can save money and then build yourself a timber frame. Do something. Always be working towards your goal. I hope you learned a lot from just that little phone call. I know it wasn't much and it really wasn't that interesting. I thought it would be something to share with you. And I'll do a follow-up on that house that had the new foundation put underneath it so you can see how far along it is, and the timber frame. All right, I'll add that in the next video. Until then, we'll see you.